So, unfortunately, I think I might be dealing with my first actual mechanical issue with this car. One of the things I noticed recently is after I run it for a little while, I noticed that there was a little spot of oil under the rear of the car where the engine is. So, I jacked up the car, had a closer look, and unfortunately, my guess is that it might be a rear main seal leak. Unfortunately, an issue that's reasonably common with this particular car. But I'm going to bring it to a mechanic and see what they have to say. So this happens to be where I've noticed the very small leak. You can see my sump right there, and that's where I see the oil leaking from. You can see there's a drip right there. So just about in line with the suspension. So here we are, we've got the car up on the lift, and pretty much as I suspected, there's the culprit right there. The rear main seal had a bit of a leak, so we've got the clutch out, flywheel out, drive shaft off, and that's what it looks like. So it's not a complicated problem, but most of the issue is that it takes a lot of labor to get all that stuff off and then change the seal. Then you got to put it all back on. So it's mainly just hours of labor. That's the issue. So I got my car back from the mechanics, and most of the things went pretty well. The repair to the rear main seal went fine. One of the good things about having that repair was it gave me an opportunity to have a look at the clutch. Replacing the rear main seal can be one of those while you're in there jobs, and the most of the cost of the job, like I said earlier, is all of the labor it costs to remove everything. So it becomes one of those while you're in there, you might as well replace the clutch if it seems at all worn, or do some other service. Well, we had a chance to look at the clutch, and there was some wear on it, but nothing needed to be replaced, so that was good. I was a little disappointed in that it was also going to be a good opportunity to have a look at the IMS bearing. You can take the IMS cover off and inspect the bearing just to make sure everything's good. Unfortunately, the mechanic that I go to, it's a rather small shop, and he doesn't have some of the specialized Porsche tools that are required to do some things, and one of those things would be have a look at the IMS. So to take that cover off, you need this little special tool that's like a little slide hammer. He did try to pry the cover of it off, but he really didn't want to force anything or cause any damage unnecessarily. I mean, there's no reason to think that there's anything wrong with the IMS. But I really would have liked to have a look if I could have, and it just turns out that I couldn't. If you're having a similar issue with your car, or you're just wondering, what is the cost of having a repair like this? The total cost of the repair ended up being about $1,785. Again, almost all labor. The rear main seal itself was $40. I did also have him do an oil service while it was there, and then all the other expense really was the cost of labor to take off the transmission and the clutch and the flywheel and all that and put it back together. So all in all, not horrible. That is the cost of owning a fairly expensive car. It's not crazy, but it's certainly not cheap either. And, I'm glad that it's repaired. I could have lived with it if I wanted to. It's just a little tiny oil drip. But really, I mean, it's not going to get better over time. It's only going to get worse, so I figured I might as well get it fixed now. while I had the opportunity. So I did. Took a couple of days. Should be getting the car back on the road very shortly. And now it's all ready to go. All right, well, hopefully you found the video helpful. If you're having a similar issue or you're just wondering of the cost of ownership, expenses of repairs, that kind of thing, hopefully you found it helpful. Press like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.